Reaching 25 years, I would tell my dad that you made it. You did it. The dreams that you have set out for yourself and for us as a family, like you did it. All of the people that you have impacted that have come to HySafe, we're proud of you. We're behind you 1,000%. You've been faithful to working hard, and you've been faithful allowing the Lord to lead you. And so I would say, like, well done, Dad.
Hi, my name is Frank Anzaldi. I'm with HySafe Technology. I am the president, owner of HySafe. I was born in Italy in a very small town called Alemana. My parents were basically farming. As my parents, couldn't make it farming, they decided to look at our opportunities. What I remember mostly is I got on a ship for I think it was like a 12-day trip. And that was the first time we actually came out of our small little town and embarked to come to the United States. We didn't know the English language, so it was really tough going to school, not knowing what's going on, and people are talking around you and you're just lost. That was the biggest challenge probably that I saw. I went from, this person is very outgoing went to like a shell that just didn't talk to anybody. But my plan was always to be in the construction industry. My BA called me up, business agent called me up from the local 58 out of Chicago. They called me up, Carpenters Union, and they said, hey, I have a job for you. I was like, really, what is it about? He says, it's this company called Unistrut. I ended up for an interview, and I went to the first job, and we're putting up steel. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not carpentry. We're actually doing steel here. And then we started doing a lot of office work as far as partitions and all of that. It was the most interesting job I ever had for 20 years. The president of Unistrut came, he was over in England, and he saw a product for fall protection. He really liked the idea that possibly Unistrut could be doing that because we're a construction company. He decided to actually bring the product to the United States. And we were like the beginner of fall protection in the United States. This is when our trip to the UK came about. That was a very, very first start of our fall protection. And we're testing out the equipment to make sure that it was something that we wanted to actually carry here in the United States. It was really interesting at that time trying to sell fall protection. You're knocking on doors and people look at you like if you're nuts. It's like, I don't need that. Finally got one that I don't remember the name of the company anymore, but he was downtown. I went down there, visited with him. After done my conversation as far as what we could do and how we could help him with his railroad, he goes, Frank, thank you for coming down, but I don't know if we really need that product. Let me walk you to the elevator. And that was like, I just learned that day what it means to get turned down. It would not feel good at all. I did not like it. But I'm not one of those guys that gives up. So I ended up going to the OSHA Training Institute, and so wild, I met this guy named Frank, which is so weird, we're both Frank. So I met with him and he says, I said, I was down to a client and they told me that, he doesn't need it. And he said, well, what do they do? I explained it to him. He goes, no, they need it. He goes, it's called the Section 5 General Duty Clause. That means that they have to provide fall protection for their people to keep them safe. So I took that piece of paper that he gave me, got back to the office. The first thing I did was I faxed it to the client and said, here you go, this is why you need it.
One of my earliest memories is when Frank came home and said he wanted to start his own business. I was a at-home mom, also a homeschooler, I think, at the time. And I'm like, no. I mean, there was insurance, there was a mortgage, there was food to be put on the table. And he convinced me, he says, but Ingrid, I'll be able to make my own hours and spend time with you and the kids.
Oh my gosh, I think the first year, again, we didn't get paid, no pay at all. I had 3 kids and house mortgage to pay, and she actually ended up getting a job because we just couldn't pay our bills. So that was really tough in the very beginning. It was really tough getting started. Our first job that we ever got was a company up in Milwaukee, Ambrosia Chocolate. We're actually running out of money. We're using credit cards to pay other credit cards. That's how bad it was. And we get a $50,000 check. It all started to fall in place. And I think the first year we did like about $400,000 in sales, which is not bad for a startup. And then the following year we did like almost like 1.2 million. That's when we started hiring more people. People call up and say, hey, what do you got in your warehouse? Like, warehouse? We don't have a warehouse. So we actually go out to the garage and see what we got in the garage, because that's what we had, was a garage. We were only there for, I think, another year or so. And Ingrid and I realized, like, oh my gosh, we're outgrowing this one too. So we went driving around in Union Grove, Wisconsin, and we were just fortunate enough they were building a new park.
The old building was like with like about like 5 people, but this one's like huge, and it's very awesome that we have these employees working here as a team and as a family.
We had people there at that time that were really passionate about it, is number one, and they saw that what we're doing and they believed in what we were doing. Some of those people would stay there until 8 o'clock at night until we got their job quoted and out the door. If I'm gonna give credit to anything, it was the people.
Everything really is about caring about the people and the individuals that work here. I've seen people grow in their skill sets. I've seen people grow in their opportunities here to better their careers and gain experience in their careers.
HySafe has helped me grow in a lot of ways. I've been able to move around in each department. I've learned how to do installs. I've learned to do warehouse work, office work.
I've seen how they've had opportunities to grow in their personal lives. Like we did the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, and that has helped a lot of people.
When I went through my divorce, that class helped me greatly, helping me figure out where I was financially. It helped me figure out how to do a budget, how to do spreadsheets, all that kind of stuff. I'm so glad that they did that.
My desire for HySafe always comes back to the team members. To see them flourish in their family, to see HySafe's family continue to flourish as we are, caring for each other.
I was a cop for 32 years and retired, and then I just didn't know what I was going to do, and I found a home here. It gave me a purpose. I've learned so much. I've learned a different trade. It's just a constant learning experience, and it keeps me going.
One of my fondest memories would be when we had a company-wide meeting, and all of a sudden my fiance at the time was upstairs and I didn't know she was coming, and we're in the process of getting married. Didn't know what we were going to do for our honeymoon or if we had the funds really after the wedding, and Frank and Ingrid gifted us a trip to Mexico.
Getting a surprise baby shower and my family being there and me having no idea, that was an awesome memory. Personally, HySafe has impacted me, just allowing me to be a mom.
Being a mom is probably the most important thing. I could still be the mom that I needed to be with taking my kids to and from school.
For their school events, having to leave early, having to change my schedule, having to come in late, that is something that there are no words.
This picture here is when we could not afford to have a booth. Yeah, this one here, we kind of assembled it on the yard. You can see that. And I just hung everything off of it, and that was our very first booth that we ever used. Actually, we're so worried about that booth was going to fall over. We used to have a guy actually holding it on one side so it didn't fall off. It was probably the worst booth you ever want to see at a trade show, but it worked. You know, we've had people now that have been there for a very long time. I mean, and I owe it to them, and I don't, you know, like people say, oh, it's how'd you grow HySafe? I didn't grow HySafe. I mean, it grew by the people that are there today.
My name is Jesus Bada. I've been working for HySafe for 18 years as a project manager.
My name is Trisha Moran. I've been here almost to the date 11 years.
My name is Mary Jo. I am marketing leader at HySafe, and I've been here almost 14 years.
I've seen growth with our team members from HySafe. Watching them just come out of high school, getting married, having their first child, seeing them take on different positions and responsibilities, and being a small company, just being able to do everything.
Everybody contributes and brings something that the team needs.
We're a very family-oriented company. We believe that family is first. That should be God, family, and work.
I am most proud of the way that we do business.
Our sales staff is a really good sales staff. You know, they don't lie to their customer.
I see other businesses operate and other policies that they have in place and how their customer service is, and honestly, like, I've seen people operate with poor integrity. For me, how we care about doing the right thing matters.
You know, I would say that we're number one in our industry. When people ask me if we have competitors, I always say we don't have any competitors. We're so much better than everybody else as far as even being the first ones that always come up with new ideas, new products. People say, oh my gosh, how'd you win that job? because we're smarter.
We could not be here without you all doing what you do, sticking with our values: teamwork, fun, integrity, innovation, excellence.
I have a lot of fond memories. Family lunches, our chili cook-offs. We have dog days where we have real live dogs come in the office. Chulo wears his sombrero sometimes. Usually it's for my birthday.
When we donated gifts to the Children's Center, when they surprised me and celebrated my graduation with me.
One night in Chicago, I know Frank drove a bunch of people down. Some were from Florida, some were from up here. We went out for pizza and walked around downtown. The people here are nice. You don't mind spending time with them. It's not a chore.
One of my fondest memories at HySafe has just been traveling, going to different trade shows, and not just the time at the actual shows, but afterwards, dragging them with me to go see different things.
HySafe's personally impacted me with a career for this long, overall just security for my family.
I'm also grateful for the opportunity the Anzaldis have given me to move up, to trust me to be project manager and take care of big projects.
I have seen my dad grow in a lot of different areas. As a business owner, I've seen the humility that he operates with.
He always encouraged me to take a leadership role, and I was just not ready. Personally, I felt like I couldn't do it, and him and Ingrid, both of them, always were telling me that I could do it, encouraging me to grow. They are one of the hardest working people I know, but they're also some of the most humble people I know.
I mean, he was always a nice guy, but there are limits to what nice people, you know. And Frank is still a nice guy.
When he talks about the employees, I mean, his passion is there, and it always will be. He never faded at all. What am I most proud of through HySafe would be that we never took a bank loan. We've always been completely debt-free, and we've stayed that way for 25 years.
Being at 25 years, the first thing I want to say is that without you, I would have never be here. You helped us move us along to where we're at today. Not credit to me, it's credit to the employees that actually work hard to get where we're at today. And I hope that, you know, we all stay focused the way we are right now and to bring it to the next level that we want to be. And it's got to be done by all of us, not just two of us.